Today we're reading Acts 16, verses 11 through 15. Therefore, loosing from Troas, we came with a straight course to Samothracia, and the next day to Neapolis, and from thence to Philippi, which is the chief city of that part of Macedonia, and a colony. And we were in that city abiding certain days. And on the Sabbath we went out of the city by a riverside, where prayer was wont to be made. And we sat down and spake unto the women which resorted thither. And a certain woman named Lydia, a seller of purple of the city of Thyatira, which worshipped God, heard us, whose heart the Lord opened, that she attended unto the things which were spoken of Paul. And when she was baptized, and her household, she besought us, saying, If ye have judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come into my house and abide there. And she constrained us. Paul and Silas go to Philippi, as it was the chief city of that part of Macedonia. But in addition to letting God tell them where to serve, they also wait for his leading on when to serve. Notice in verse 12, he said they were in that city abiding certain days. Paul and Silas were open to God's timing as much as they were to his direction. Isn't that difficult sometimes? God doesn't always work with our timelines. Sometimes he prods us to move before we think we're even ready. Other times he seems to have us waiting when we'd rather be moving. David knew this feeling well. In Psalm 27, verse 14, he says, Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. He repeats it for effect, to make sure we don't miss the imperative of the statement, wait on the Lord. He knows what is best for us, and he sees a much bigger picture than we do. It only makes sense we would wait for his timing. But waiting isn't easy, is it? So after waiting certain days, they went out by the river on a Sabbath day. For areas that didn't have enough Jewish people to build a synagogue, they would often meet just outside of the city in open areas. The river was apparently that place for Philippi. Now we don't know why this group was all women. Perhaps they had gathered before the larger gathering of everyone, or perhaps they were the only ones interested in praying. Regardless of the reason, Paul sat down and began to talk with them about the gospel. Luke tells us that a certain woman named Lydia was keenly listening to what Paul was saying. She apparently was a business owner, as it refers to her as a seller of purple. Now, purple clothing would have been purchased by the wealthy people, so we can assume her business probably did quite well. She believes and is baptized, along with everyone that lives in her house. Then we see Lydia's hospitality. She invites Paul, Silas, and Timothy to come stay at her house. Now, some have pointed out that she must have had a decent-sized home to be able to invite 3 extra guests in to stay. And she didn't just offer. It says she constrained us. She was apparently one of those ladies who won't take no for an answer. And now she knows Jesus. All because Paul, Silas, and Timothy were obedient to God's direction and timing while sharing the gospel.